explain you on the paint. Suppose we have one machine into the US East region, Oregon, and one machine into the AWS Mumbai region. Okay, and they have some private IP like that, 10.0.0. Suppose that IP is 10.0.0.5, and this IP here is private IP 192.168.0.0.8. Okay, so how can we communicate these private IP? We all know very well we can uh, we can connect with the public IP, but we don't want to use internet to access both machine internally. Okay, how can we create a custom pipeline to the one VPC or from another VPC? Suppose this is a VPC 1 of US region, and inside this VPC we have this server. Okay, we are trying to connect this server to this server through private IP. Okay, so let's go to the panel. Into the Oregon region, let's create our own VPC here. Now create a VPC, my VPC 1. Okay, give the value, suppose 10.0.0.0/16. Okay, and everything set as default. Create VPC. Once the VPC is created, go to the subnet. Into the subnet, now create a subnet. Select the VPC, my VPC 1, and here my VPC 1 subnet 1 availability zone. We can choose the 2A CIDR block. We can give the 10.0.0.0/24 and create subnet. Once the subnet is created, we need to create internet gateway. On the internet gateway, create internet gateway my IGW and create internet gateway. Internet gateway is created. Once it is created, we need to attach with the VPC, attach to the VPC. Now VPC 1, attach internet gateway. Now we need to create a route table. Route table is created, this one, and here it is subnet association. Select edit subnet association, my VPC 1, this one, and save the association. Okay, VPC 1 is created. Okay, now go to the now create a server into this region, EC2 VPC VM1 Windows, and give the key pair name Windows. Edit network. Here we give the VPC, custom VPC, subnet this one. Okay, and everything set as default. Auto assign enable, yes. Now you can see we have created a server into the first we have created a VPC into the US West region, and into the US West region, Oregon region, we have created a VPC and a server, okay, which IP is like that. Here we write on the other end, the private IP address of that machine is 10.0.0.74, this IP, okay. And on the another, here is the Oregon region. On the other side, we are going to create another VPC, VPC2, with the different IP address. Suppose we have created VPC2 and the IP address is 192.168.0.0/16. Okay, and here we create a machine. We will create a machine. Our VPC1 is ready. Now create VPC2 for the Singapore region. Okay, go to the Singapore region and go to your VPC. Here we create our VPC, VPC2, give the name VPC2 and give the CIDR block range 192.168.0.0/16. Everything set as default. Now create VPC. Once go to the subnet. Here we create a subnet VPC2 my VPC2 subnet. Go to the availability zone any and give the CIDR range 192.168.0.0/24. Now create the subnet. Once the subnet is created, go to the internet gateway. Into the internet gateway, create internet gateway my IGW2 and create internet gateway. Once the internet gateway is created, go to the route table. Route table is created. We can select this one and attach with the subnet association. Select this one and save the association. Okay, VPC2 is created as I defined into the picture, and here it is. IP series is 192.168.0.0.16. Now create two server into that. We have instance. Here we give the my VPC VM2 and select the Windows one. Choose the key pair, this one, and go to the network section. My VPC2. This is the subnet. Auto assign IP enable and launch instance with the key pair. Okay. So here is the IP of the instance. Let me write it. Okay. You can see both IP address is now series is different. It is started from 10. It is started from 192. But suppose if there is another server into the same VPC with this IP address, with this IP address series, maybe it is 75 at the end. Okay, so it will connect automatically without any configuration. Okay, or if there is 192 series IP or another VPC into that, so we need to create a VPC pairing, but it is into the different region. It is into the Oregon region and this one is into the Singapore region.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it is into the Singapore region. So we need to create a pipeline between one VPC to another VPC. Okay, without using the internet. Now try to connect both machine without the VPC pairing first. Uh, Go to the connect button, RDP client, and download the RDP file. Get the password, browse the file, and go to the Windows. This one, decrypt the password. Okay, that is the password. Open the RDP file and connect with that. You can see it is initiating the connection. It is not working. Let me check. Let me check with the VPC first. We have attached the IGW to. Okay, IGW is successfully attached into the root table. It is attached to that root table. Okay. Okay, into the root table we have to define the thing to the gateway. Okay, into the root table, edit roots, and here we have to add the root 0.0.0 to the internet gateway IGW and this one. Now save. On the same thing we have to do into the Singapore region. VPC IG root table and select this one. Yes, edit root 0.0.0.0 slash 0 to the IGW. No IGW found. Why? Okay, we need to attach this IGW to the network attached to a VPC. This one. Go to the route table and select the route ID. Add it. Here we have to add the route. And save this. Now try to connect with that. Open the. Yes, now it is coming up and try to connect. Okay, so we have successfully connected with the server 1 into the Oregon region. As you can see, because we need to attach a route table and define a path to the internet gateway into the VPC. Okay, and inside the machine we are trying to connect with the Singapore machine through the local IP. We are going to use this IP. First we try this and then we try this. Okay, but our target is that we want to connectivity with this IP. Okay, through the locally. So it is the RDP of the machine and open the RDP tool inside the machine. Sorry. Okay, if we tried with the public IP, we are 100% sure that we are able to connect with that. Okay, if it is asking for the password, that means you can connect. Okay, it is asking for the password, that means your connection is working fine, you are able to connect, but it is through the it is through the public IP, but our target is that we want to connectivity with the private IP. So let's try with the private IP 192.168.0.255. Now give the IP address is here. You can see we are not able to connect with the private IP. Okay, so how can we do that? We have to go into the pairing section. Once it is failed, we will go into the pairing connection. Go to the VPC here and VPC this one. Into the VPC. Now we are going to create a pipeline through one VPC to another VPC. Now create pairing connection. Here we write my Oregon Singapore VPC VPC 1 to VPC 2. I just giving a name. Okay. Now my VPC 1, and it is into the same account. Yes. It is into the same region. No, we have to choose the region here and choose the region Singapore. VPC ID. Now we have to give the VPC ID, target VPC ID. Okay. So go to the VPC section of the, we have to grab the VPC ID. It is the VPC2 and series is that. Okay. Now select this one and copy, paste it into here. This is the VPC ID, and now create peering connection. Once a pairing request is sent to your region, means Oregon VPC will send a request to the Singapore region, we need to accept that. Okay, you can see pending acceptance on this one. Okay, it is the previous one. On this one we need to accept that. Okay, so a request is already sent to the target VPC, we need to accept that. On this VPC you can see we have a request. On the pairing connection you can see pending acceptance is there. Select this one and accept the request. Okay, maybe it is a maybe sometime it is a malware. Okay, so we need to deny it. We only accept that request once we known that request, that who is the sender of that request. Okay, it is from my company or it is from the another company.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now accept that request. Without without accept the request, it cannot be communicate with our machine through the locally. But once you accept the request, it will create a pipeline. Okay, before accept the request, it will show you all the detail or the requester ID, requester account ID, CIDR. You can see the request owner ID is that, acceptor owner ID is that, everything. Okay, now accept the request. Provisioning, it's take time to provision this pipeline. You can see it is now active. You can see it is now active. Into the route table we have to define the path. Here we need to enter the targeted path like 10.0.0.0/16, this one, and to the VPC pairing connection. Yes, this one. Save changes. Once the changes is done, go to the another VPC, select the route table, and this one, edit routes. Here we need to enter the target 192.168.0.255. 16, this one to the peering connection, this one, and save changes. Save changes is done. Let's try to connect with them again. Connect now. You can see we are able to connect with that because we need to define the routes into the route table through the peering connection. Select this one route table, and you can see we need to define the routes from it is the target VPC, means go to the VPC section and your VPC. Here you can see the Singapore VPC CIDR block is that 192.168. So we need to mention that into the route table because we have successfully uh, created a pipeline, but we need to define the route. Okay, we have created the pipeline from here to there, but we need to define the route table. Okay, from this one to this one we need to define. VPC is connected through the peering connection, but we need to define the route table. So we define the route table. It is the targeted ID and it will go through the peering connection. Here we select the peering connection into that. If I cross check this, and here we need to select the target device. So target device is PCX or the peering connection. Okay, did you understand the concept, or should I again the explain again?
No, no, I understood.
Okay.
Only routine thing was we missed. Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain it again. We have created a server into that. Into first we have created a on VPC. Okay, or maybe you will get a pre-created VPC, means a company is already created a VPC. So you have to make a peering connection between from one VPC to another VPC. Okay, or maybe both VPC are created in a company. You have to only make a connection between the VPCs. So uh, into the VPC section, you have to go to the peering connection. Here we have to create a connection between here create peering connection, give the VPC ID and account ID and all these details. So we will create a connection. Once the request is sent to the target VPC, we need to accept that into here. Okay, select this one and go to the action and accept the request. Once the request is accepted, you have to mention the route table. You have to mention into the route table what is the route for us for your uh, traffic. So it is the target section and it is the destination section, and it will go through the VPC peering connection on the same way. You have to mention it here. Okay, from the target is that 10.0.0 is target, and it will go through the our VPC peering connection. Okay, so we are able to connect it with that. How can we cross check? Let's cross check with that. Let me cross this. You can see I am on the server 1. IP is 10.0.0.74, but I am trying to connect with the server 2 through the private IP, not the public IP. I am using only the private IP. Click on the connect button. Here we have to give the administrator username and the password. So where we find, go to the EC2 section. Into the EC2 section, select this one and connect. Now RDP client, copy the username, paste it here and paste the password. Get the password, upload the key, Windows Singapore. Yes, decrypt the password. That is the password for that. You can see we are able to connect with that machine through the local IP through the private IP. Okay, you can see there is a private IP. Is that clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. You can see we are able to connect it through the VM1 to VM2 inside the machine through the private IP. Okay. And once our lab is successful, we need to delete all the resources.
Mm.
Okay. Do you have any question or other query?
No, no, fine.
Fine. But you have to practice today, because if you are not doing practices, you will not able to remember that.
Yeah, sure, I will do.
Okay.
Mm.
In my